Good morning and hello everyone, and welcome to at home workout number 3. Doing this one live because I am here and I'm available, and hopefully this will mean the video will actually post on the wall rather than having to just post the link. So yeah, we are going to do a workout today called Down the Ladder, and we're going to do a series of movements that work the muscles around the glutes and hips, some inner and outer thigh. We are going to do some shoulder work, we are going to do some core work, and we are going to do some squats. Now the format of the session is that the ladder is 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, all the way down to 1. So you do each exercise for the amount of reps, and then in between we're going to do some squat taps to keep our heart rate up. Now the idea of this is that you work as quickly as you can. You get minimal rest in between the exercises because you want it to be quite high impact. However, I'm going to take it at a relatively moderate pace just because I want people to be able to work along with me. And I want it to be a good workout for as many people as possible. However, if you find that I'm working too quickly or too slowly, as long as you know what exercises you're doing, you can continue independently. So before we get started, before I get you warmed up, I'm going to demo the exercises. We are going to be using the resistance bands. I'm going to use them slightly differently to how you may, but let me show you. So I am using the lightest band, which is, actually no, I'm not using the lightest band, I'm using the red band. And normally for these kind of hip and glute exercises, you would take this Velcro strip attachment with the D-ring on the end. You would attach it via the D-ring to one of the cable clips, and then you would wrap this around your ankle and fasten it with the Velcro. And then what you do is you take the other end and you'd attach it to your anchor point at a low point at basically at the very bottom of the door, ideally kind of laying flat on the floor. However, I'm not going to do that just because of the distance away from the door that would take me and the difficulty in filming the position I'll be in. So I'm taking the band, I'm going to clip it together, and I'm going to loop it around the bottom of my table leg, and I'm going to do that just so I can show you how that works. And that way, it's purely because that way I get to be able to stand close enough to a camera for you to be able to see what I'm doing, and that is going to be my glute and hip workout position. So let's crack on and get demoing. Now our first exercise is called a glute kickback, and with this one we're coming and we're standing inside the loop that we created with the resistance band. We're going to put the clasps around the table because I don't want them rubbing on my ankle. Then what we're going to do is move this phone back so you can see me a bit better. So you're going to stand with some resistance on the band, and you're going to pull your foot straight back. Now with this, you want to be pulling from the glutes rather than leaning forward. So try to pull straight back without leaning too far forward. So that's our first one. I'm going to show you all of the glute and hip exercises at the same time while I'm down here. We also have, to move this over here. We also have what's called a hip adductor, where you stand with your foot in the band and you are pulling the band in towards your other leg. When I say hip adductor, you want to imagine that you're adding to or going towards the midline of your body, and that works the inner thighs really nicely. And then we have a hip abductor, which is where you are taking your leg away from the midline of your body, and that is when you're putting the other foot in and you are pulling the leg out. So what we're working here is we're working glutes, we're working through the inner thighs, and we're working the smaller glute muscles that come around here to control that outward movement. So those are our glute and hip movements. In there we are also going to have a 1.5 squat, which is where we are squatting. And with our squats, as always, core held in nice and tight. I'm going to get you to hold in a prisoner grip, so that way you've got your nice straight back. And to do that, hands behind your head, not pulling forward, just resting them there. As always with our squat, sending hips back, aiming to keep knees at about 90 degrees and sending those hips back and down as low as you can. But with our 1.5 squat, we are going down to the bottom, we are coming halfway up, we're going down again, and we're coming up. And that is 1 rep. And it's called a 1.5 squat. No prizes for noticing that you go down, you come halfway up, you go down, you come up. So you're doing 1.5 squats. So that's one of them too. The next ones we are going to have is something called an inverted shoulder press. Now this is a hard movement. If you can't do it, just substitute it for a press up. Bring you down to the floor. And our inverted shoulder press means we're in a V. So if I shuffle forward so you can see what my bum's doing, we're in that kind of position. And what we're doing is we're keeping head between your elbows and we are dropping down to the floor. Now this is one of very few bodyweight movements that really work the shoulders in this way. However, if you can't do that, that's absolutely fine. Bring it down to either a toe or a knee press up with nice wide hands. So as you drop down into that press up, your elbows are hitting 90 degrees. And whilst it's not going to hit the same muscles, it's still going to work the shoulders. That's pretty good. After that, we also have a Russian twist. So halfway back and tapping each side. 1 rep is tapping both sides. So when you're doing 10 reps, you're going to do 20 taps. And all the way down to when we do 1 rep, it will be 2 taps. Sorry for the rather jerky camera movement. So now I've demoed movements and we are going to get all warmed up. As always, I want you to work to your own pace. As I said before, once you've followed the exercises once round and you know them, if you're happy to, and you either need to work more slowly or more quickly than I'm working, then get rid of the video and just do it independently. I want it to be a good workout for you, and if it's not the right pace, then that's absolutely fine. So stretching out through the chest. Sorry for the bright shiny light, it's quite dark this morning. So I need the light so you can see what I'm doing. And then we're rotating through the shoulders. Doesn't matter which direction we're going, because we're going to turn around and go in the opposite direction any second now. And reverse. And then we're going to high knee it. Now, as always, if you can't high knee, do a marching high knee. And then some butt kicks. Then come to standing, rotating through the hips. Warming up those hip joints, warming up the muscles surrounding them. We're going to be doing a lot of work with them. And what I want you to do now is I want you to grab a tin of beans, something you can hold that's just gives you something to grip onto. If you haven't got one, that's absolutely fine. I'm going to use one of my weights, but you can do it just with your hands. This is just to continue our movement prep. going to start by standing with either just your hands or the weight straight out in front of you, and we're going to rotate. And to start with, we're going to keep our hips as far forward as we can and our feet nicely planted on the floor. And then we're going to let our heels come up and let our hips rotate too, really maximising the rotation through the spine, easing through any stress, any tension, and just letting everything move nice and freely. Then we're going to take our weight, or just our hands, let it hang down. We're going to push our hips back, and we're going to swing up. So really pushing those hips back and swinging up at the top and pushing up with your hands. Then we're going to take our weight, we'll just use our hands, we're going to lunge forward and just bring the weight down to the floor. Now it's not a big proper lunge, it's really just kind of bending. And what this is doing is it's working through the ankle, the knee and the hip joints to get them nice and warm. And then finally, hold your weight in front of you. We're going to squat down and push the weight forwards. So coming down as low as you can. And rest. If you haven't already, grab some water. And we're going to get going. And we're starting with these glute kickbacks. So we're going for minimal rest. I'm going to start with my right leg in the bands, and we're going for 10. Really trying to keep the shoulders and back straight. Controlling it backwards, and that's 10, and then we're going to swap to the other foot. I'm using a surface to support myself because that helps me not move my shoulders so much. If you put your hands on your bottom, you should feel your muscles working. And 10. Now we're coming down for press-ups, either on knees or toes, and we're going for 10. That's my 10. Then we're coming back up and we're doing hip adductors. So you want to get your foot into the band, nice position with resistance on, and then you're pulling in towards your body. Should be working the inner thigh. I'm going to have to turn around while I do my other foot on my other side. You need to feel the tension on the band before you start. If it's too hard, move closer to your anchor point. If it's too easy, move further away. my 10. And then we're coming down for our inverted shoulder press. So if you can't do these, just go for another lot of press ups. Head down between your arms and dropping down to the floor. That's 10. And coming back to the band. And we're doing our hip abductors, which is where we're taking our leg away from the midline of the body, keeping your toes facing forwards as you move, working these little muscles in here. And then turning round and doing the same on the other side. And that is our 10. Down for Russian twists. You can either have your heels on the floor or off the floor, depending on how easy or hard you want it to be. And that's 10. And then we're coming up for our 1.5 squats and go prisoner grip, almost forgot, three, taking it nice and slow, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, last one, and 10. Then we have 10 squat taps, and we're going to do these in between each set of exercises. So I want to come to a slightly wider than normal squat position. We're going to come down and tap the floor, and we're doing this as quickly as we can. Go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Grab a quick drink, and we're going again. I'm just going to open my window. Right then, let's go. We are on 9. And we're starting with our glute kickbacks. Let's get moving. 8, 9. Swapping legs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Down for press ups, moving quite fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Up for our hip adductors. So stepping nice and far away and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Should feel it down your inner thigh. Swapping over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Coming out the bend. Quickly down for our inverted shoulder press. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Down for our Russian twists. Oh, I lie. Not down for Russian twists. Going in for our hip abductors, where we're taking the foot away from the body. 1, 2, 3. Try and stay standing as upright as you can. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Turning round. Same on the other side. And now we're down for our Russian twists. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Nine 1.5 squats. Go. 1. Coming down as low as you can. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. Now, as our exercises decrease, our squat taps are increasing. So we have 11 now. Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Very quick drink. We're going again. So now we have 8 of each exercise. Starting with our glute kickbacks. Go. Keeping nice and controlled. Eight on each side. Swapping over. Coming down to press ups. 8. Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Coming into our hip adductions. Getting some nice resistance on the one before you start. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Swapping legs. 6, 7, 8. Down for our inverted shoulder press and go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Then we have our hip abductors, feet inside the band and pushing your leg away. So hip abduction, abduct, take away. So on our 8s, and turning round. Down for Russian twists. Legs are starting to feel a bit achy. Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then we have our 1.5 squats. Into our prisoner grip and go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, one more, 8. Then coming down for our squat taps, 12, go. Nice and quick. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Quick drink. And we're going again, 7s. Just adjusting the band, excuse me. Go. Trying to stand nice and upright, keeping your toes facing forwards. Swapping over once you've done 7. Down for press ups. Then up for our hip adduction movement, where we're bringing our leg in towards the body. Only just in shot, keeping your toes facing forwards. Working and feeling down the inner thigh, then swapping over. down for our inverted shoulder press. If you're finding the shoulder press too easy, bring your feet in towards your shoulders, or you can raise your feet up off the floor. That'll raise the challenge. Then we have our hip abduction movement. Keeping your toes forwards, keeping the movement focused through the lower body. And turning round. Down for our Russian twists. Leaning back, heels up or down. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then up for our 1.5 squats. We'll do these facing forwards this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Squat taps. Going up to 13, nice and fast. Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Quick drink. Then we're on 6s. Bring the camera back down. So starting with our kickbacks. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Swapping over. 4, 5, 6. Down for our press ups. Nice and fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Our hip adductors. Standing away from your anchor point. Nice resistance on the band. Swapping legs. Now you may see me tap down my toe just to steady myself. That's absolutely fine. Down for our inverted shoulder press. Going to bring my feet in a bit to make it more challenging. And up. And then we have our hip abductors. 1, swapping over. Down for our Russian twists. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we have our 1.5 squats, prisoner grip style. 1, I look like a frog that way. 2, 3, 4, 5, one more, 6. Then down for 14 squat taps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So, legs are starting to feel it a little bit. Starting to feel a bit tired. We're on 5s. Each round getting shorter. I'm going to put down the phone in front where the anchor point is, so you can see how it looks from the front. And we're on 5s, go. Trying to pull straight back, toes facing forwards, and then swapping over. Now if you stand too far away from the anchor point, you're going to find that it's too hard and you're going to want to keep leaning over. If that's the case, step a bit closer. Moving down for press-ups. 3, 4, 5. And then we're coming in for our hip adductors. So standing, so you've got a nice tension on the band and pulling in. Keeping your toes facing forward and then swapping over. Pulling in towards the body, staying nice and upright so the movement is isolated through the muscles we're trying to hit. And then we're down for our inverted shoulder press. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we have our abductors, where we're standing with both feet inside the band, toes facing forward on the moving leg, and pulling straight out to the side. And swapping over. Now it's quite common to have one leg that's stronger than the other, or one set of glutes that's stronger than the other. These are a really good way of rectifying that. And we've got Russian twists for 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Our 1.5 prisoner squats. Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Squat taps going for 15. 1, 2, 3, 4. Powering up through the thighs. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Quick drink, we'll go again. And we are on 4s. Bring you back down to this position. Starting with our kickbacks. I have a weakness in my glutes on this side, which is why I always tend to lean over on that side, but not this side. And this side, I've got a much better range of motion. Press ups. 4. Hip adductors. Standing nice and far away, so you've got plenty of tension on the band. I quite like these because you have to work the core as well to stay upright, and then we're swapping over. Down for our inverted shoulder press. And then standing with both feet inside of the band for our hip abductors. Toes facing forwards, staying nice and upright, turning round. Down for our Russian twists. As we're lessening the amount of reps for these, if you want to grab a weight, even if it's a tin of beans or something, you can add that in. Going for our 1.5 prisoner squats. With 2, 3, 4, and then we have 16 of these squat taps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Right, back in for 3s. As these exercises are getting shorter, our squat taps are getting longer, so keeping the intensity up. Swapping over. 3 press ups. Excuse the noise of the van that just went past. swapping over. 3. Inverted shoulder presses. 1, 2, 3. These are flying now. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Prisoner grip 1.5 squats. 1, 2, 3. 17 squat taps. Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. We are nearly there. Two more rounds. These are going to fly by. Come on, you can do it. Keep going. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Inverted shoulder press. 1, 2. Hip abductors. 1, 2. Same on the other side. 1, 2. Russian twists. 1, 2. 1.5 squats. Prisoner grip style. 1, 2. 18 squat taps. Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. One more round, people. One more round. Grab a drink. Let's go. Last one. 1. Swapping over. 1. 1. 1. 1. Gotta be honest, feels weird just doing one of everything. 1. 1. 1. 1, last 1.5 squat, 1, 19 squat taps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Now that, oh, hello, slightly less intense exercises or less intense routine than the ones we've been doing, but still should be getting into those thigh, glute and hip muscles. A little bit of shoulder work, a little bit of core work. If you're feeling like you haven't worked hard enough, feel free to do some more rounds, but for most people, that's going to be about enough. So let's get you stretched off. Starting with shoulders, reaching forward and bringing it round to the side. Holding for between 10 and 15. Same on the other side. So let me know how you're getting on with the workouts. Let me know if you're enjoying them, if there's any feedback, anything I'm not being clear enough on. If there's a particular movement that you're really struggling to do and you don't know what to substitute it with, let me know. Turning round, hands behind your back, stretching out through the chest. Now I'm going to do lying down glutes and hamstrings and a seated, lying down glutes and hamstrings and a seated quad stretch today, just because it's good to show different variations. And some stretches work brilliant for some people and not so well for others. So for our lying down glute stretch, down on the floor, knees bent, you're bringing one leg over, crossing your ankle over your other knee, taking your hands, threading one through the middle, one round the outside, and then pulling in towards you. And holding for between 10 and 15. Then we're going to take this leg up, getting it straight as you can, and gently pulling it in towards you. Now this one, I have fairly tight hamstrings on this side, does tend to make my toe quiver, and then we're going to bring the toes down to move the stretch down into the calf muscle as well, still gently pulling in towards yourself. And then we're going to swap over into the glute stretch on the other side. Hands one through the middle, one round the outside, and pulling in. And then releasing, bringing the leg straight up, pulling it in towards you. And then toes pulled down. And then finally, I'm going to come to a kneeling quad stretch. Now the quads are the muscles down the front of the thighs. And this is just a different way of stretching them. And we're kneeling. We're going to put our hands behind us, so we're reaching back, and then we're going to push hips forward. Now if this isn't doing the trick for you, I'll show you another one in a minute. If that doesn't work, because I'll be honest, that doesn't do masses for me, but I have clients that really prefer that movement. We're going to come down onto our front on the ground, and we're going to just bring in our heels towards our bottoms. And then if you're not feeling that, really push your hips forward. And release. And you are officially all done. Let me know how you've got on. Any feedback is very gratefully received. If you've hated the format, if you've hated any of the exercise, if you've loved the format, or if you've loved any of the exercises, then let me know, because the more feedback I get, the more I can improve the workouts for all of you. Thanks ever so much, and I'll see you next time.